So Destined Rivals is going against the grain, and prices continue to rise even as we go further away from the initial release day. I've talked about this time frame of 2 weeks really being a indication of where this set and where prices will go. Well, we are pretty much exactly a week after the official release of the set, and just looking at this week, I feel like we already have a pretty good indication of where we are headed with this set. Now, it has just been a week, and prices have already rebounded exactly where they were with, I guess, just on pre-orders. On pre-orders, these were at 165. Look what's happened. Obviously on the release day they dropped like $10, and ever since then they've just continued to go up, and they're exactly where they were on pre-order, and this was just a week, and they've already rebounded. Surging Sparks, I believe, took around a week or a little bit longer. Prismatic took a couple of weeks, a little bit longer than that. But yeah, Destined Rivals barely dropped, and it quickly snapped back up. Now, this is very surprising, like I mentioned before, because card prices have dropped significantly since release, and you would think because of that you would see sealed items going down in price, but it has not done that. And if you look at sales volume, it is also still very consistent. You look at the past few days: 110, 119, and 111. Very consistent sales volume, and even when it's gone up, it's only like $5-10, but sales volume is still pretty high. So once again, first week, talk about it still a little bit too early, but I feel like still just this much strength we're seeing here in this first week. We did not see this with Journey Together whatsoever. I made a video yesterday comparing Journey Together and how sales volume was very low and dropped off pretty instantaneously, and prices dropped as well with the sales volume. But Destined Rivals is doing the exact complete opposite of Journey Together. Prices are going up, sales volume is still extremely high, and I just don't see this ending up like Journey Together. And it is very, kind of interesting how many people were very skeptical about the set, and a lot of people were saying that, don't worry guys, Destined Rivals, get out while you can, it's all going to MSRP. This is just Journey Together repeating itself with Destined Rivals. I've always said that I think it's a little bit crazy to compare the two and say that this is going to end up like that set, and we're just seeing it here. There is literally zero signs, at least in this week, that it's going to end up like Journey Together, because Journey Together dropped on release and kept going down. And what are we seeing here with Destined Rivals? The exact opposite. Now, one thing I will say is, rebounding this quickly, how high can we go? Now, since we're basically back to where we were before, where do we go from here? Do we go up? Do we stabilize here? Do we go down? In my opinion, at least in the near term, maybe within a month, I don't see these going that much higher. I can maybe see these going to maybe 270s, 280s, but I don't think these are going 300 plus, just in my opinion. I don't really see how that would really happen. If it did go that high, it'd be the most expensive box in Scarlet and Violet. It would be more expensive than Paldea Evolved. I don't really see that happening. I think these will probably stay maybe even at this price point for a little bit, but supply in the market says a little bit differently, but I really don't think these could go that much higher. I'd be very shocked, but I'll just show you guys here. Like I said, supply, if you look at it, these are going to be entering high 270s, 280s pretty soon, which is kind of crazy to even say. But we see here, I'm just going to count really quick, kind of just, graze over these. There's like 60 boxes here, 70. Add this, it's like 120 right here, and we're still at the same price. So what was that? What I said 120. You see here on the bottom of this page though, it goes to 280. So I said 120. Let's just add 20 here. So 140, 150, 200, and 200, like 10, whatever. We hit 280, which is kind of crazy. But as prices go up, you would expect sales volume to probably decrease and more people to list. So that's why I really don't think, at least in the next few weeks to a month, that this is probably not going to hit above like 300. It'll probably stay in the 270s, 280s. But it is crazy to see how fast that this has rebounded, and actually comparing to sales volume, because at least 100 boxes have sold consistently since release day, how little supply there is really. It's kind of crazy to see for literally this box. This set is literally a week old. You would expect to see way more supply on the market for this price point at least. And you're not seeing that. 200 boxes under 280. Guys, that's not much. TCG Player obviously isn't the only place these are listed, but this is a very new set. TCG Player is very big. 200 boxes is nothing compared to the sales volume. So it'll be interesting to see if I'm wrong, or maybe these do go to like 300, but I just really don't see it happening for the set, at least in the near term. But maybe this will surprise me because it already has. But I think it'd be pretty crazy for this set to be more expensive than Paldea Evolved, even though obviously it's way more expensive of a set. But Paldea Evolved is over, like, I think at this point it's over 2 years old. I think that'd be crazy to see. And then obviously Paldea Evolved then would probably be in pretty, I guess, obvious pickup as a buy, being, that old, and also being a really good set as well. If Destined Rivals becomes more expensive than it, I think that would make Paldea Evolved even better of a buy. But yeah, Destined Rivals it's crazy what is happening. I really did not expect this, and I think a lot of people that said that this was going to MSRP maybe might be rethinking, because I mean, you look at supply, you look at sales volume, you look at the prices, you look at how it's been behaving, and just the general consensus and reaction to Destined Rivals has been very positive compared to like Journey. I don't see this going to 161, guys, at least in the near term. Maybe you want to, call it out in a year or two, possibly, but at least for now, I don't see it happening whatsoever. There's just no signs. Now, if you go on eBay, you're not really going to find these for any cheaper. Don't buy these ones from Pakistan or whatever. There's some other listings here for 260 to 270. You're not going to find them for any cheaper. There's honestly not even that many like on here. It's kind of crazy. I mean, I guess there's like individual listings, but from big sellers, I don't know where Pete Football's listing is. I don't know if he got bought out. Maybe he's just listing in increments. But usually he has the cheapest prices, and it's not on here. There's other sellers, but yeah, they're all just 260, 270. You're not going to really get much of a discount buying on eBay. Now next here, the PC ETB. Now the PC ETB still at 185. Really hasn't done much. It's been pretty stable out here, as you can see. Since being released, it's literally been the exact same price. Sales volume still pretty similar to the previous days. If you go on eBay, it's pretty much the exact same price. Really no discounts. Normal ETB, at one point it was like $100 lowest listed. Now it's sort of dropped into the low 90s. Even still, to see this normal ETB in the low 90s, it's still pretty expensive. You go on eBay, you'll see here, kind of the same thing with all the other products. You're not going to really find any discount, even from the evil scalpers, flippers. You're not going to get much of a discount buying from eBay either. Now, if you go see the total set value, it is still around $2,000. This is updated. I cross-checked with TCG Player here on all the prices. They're pretty similar. The Mewtwo has sort of, seems like it's stabilized at this price point in like the mid 350s. It looks like here it's gone up. It's actually the wrong condition. So it's gone up like, I guess, a tiny bit, like $20, but you can't see how much it dropped initially. But it seems like at this price point, it's probably going to be stable around here. I was going to be surprised if it dropped even further, but it has, kind of stabilized in this mid 300s. So that is something to note. So it looks like these prices, at least for the next like week, they may continue to drop a little bit, but I think they are sort of stabilizing around now, because it's been like a week after release, and I think a lot of people at this point have probably opened stuff up, and to see these prices drop and kind of it's even slightly go up for this shows me that they're probably somewhat stabilized. May drop plus or minus maybe 5-10%, but yeah, I don't think they're really going to change too much. But we may see maybe some of these cards down here drop more. Like I'd probably expect maybe the Nidoking, Crobat, some of these other cards here to maybe drop a little bit more. But I think these top chases have sort of stabilized, and now, yeah, even just a week after being released. But this is still by far the most expensive main set. So yeah, I mean, the most expensive main set I mentioned was Surging Sparks, which is like $1,200 total set value. The Pikachu is under $300 now. This is at $2,000, which is $800 more expensive than Surging Sparks. So you could argue, the booster box should be as expensive as it is, but it is also a brand new set, and you would expect there to be more supply on the market. But like I showed you guys on TCG Player, there's really not that much. So we will see maybe we'll see some crazy things happening here with Destined Rivals booster boxes, and maybe they go to 300, but I really think they'll probably stay 270s, 280s, because I would be very shocked if Destined Rivals continues at the rate it's going at, because Destined Rivals really had a lot of negativity and also positivity, but there was a lot of people saying that this was going to be Journey Together all over again, and that this set was mid, and everybody's saying all sorts of things about the set. I wasn't expecting sort of this to happen. I knew it wasn't going to crash to MSRP, but I mentioned previously I thought booster boxes would go to 220s, 230s, but that did not even really happen. So that's all I want to talk about here. Just another update on Destined Rivals. Let me know down in the comments below. Are you guys surprised with the performance of Destined Rivals, or are you not? Because I think a lot of people are, even people that were sort of bullish on Destined Rivals. I think people are probably just generally surprised how little this set dropped and how quickly it rebounded in just a week. Prices are back where they were before, and it seems like they're going to continue to go up. So that's all I want to talk about here. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.